Hello there, health coaches. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Today, we are talking with three health coaches in our community about the power of working together. And I love what these three women have been able to accomplish because one of the reasons I started our Facebook group, our whole health coach power community was because I was lonely and working at my kitchen table by myself was like the worst experience. It almost made me want to go back to corporate. So I just love when like mini communities sprout up within our community. And so today I'm going to introduce you to Ellen and Diane and Francine and talk about how this group of fast trackers actually came together to really support each other in a very unique way. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
We're happy to be here. You mentioned that before we hopped on the line, you were all texting and like preparing like what you were going to say because you knew that we'd all be here together. We're going to get into all of that, but before we do, maybe we could just kind of go around the circle, and I'd love to hear like where you personally and also where your business was at 90 days ago, because you all just completed our 90-day fast track program. So in 90 days, you've done a lot. And I know everyone kind of comes away with different takeaways. And one of those takeaways is, of course, how you came to work together. But like, let's just do a flashback. 90 days ago, what was different? Like, what do you see as the biggest change? Ellen, would you go first?
Wow, that's a loaded question, Michelle. So try to summarize how many wins you can have in 90 days. Yeah, I went in, saying that I definitely need accountability and I need to get this thing moving. I've done quite a few courses, both with you and, outside of this community. And it's always just like at my own pace. And I started to realize my own pace wasn't really getting results, because yes, I was doing the work, but I didn't know who to share it with. And I didn't know how to figure out a lot of technical issues and a lot of conceptual issues, a lot of marketing issues. So in 90 days, I'm like absolutely amazed that, oh my God, like I embraced always in my life the gift of hindsight. And when I reflected last night prior to this episode, I thought, gosh, in the last 90 days, I now have a completely up and running weekly email. I have at least 60 or 70 subscribers. They're actually opening the emails and reading them, which is amazing. I have my first opt-in page done. I would have never, ever figured that one out on my own. A sales page done, a jumpstart done. It's all in progress and being released in the next 2 weeks, but the actual technical part is done. I don't think I could have ever done that by myself in 90 days before, seriously. So a lot of stuff. And then there's been this amazing, what I would call extraneous outcomes I didn't expect. So a lot of support from family and friends, meeting these two lovely ladies that have joined us here, having my doula, Katie, and my mastermind, Michelle. So it was a lot, and I'm forever grateful for that.
You have come a really long way. And you bring up a great point because like, as we tell our clients about health, or as, when we think about our clients, information is everywhere. It's the accountability that really makes the difference, and the community. So thank you so much. Diane, what about you? What was the biggest difference from 90 days ago?
I think, kind of keeping your feet to the fire.
Woohoo, me?
Yes, and everybody, including, so these are two of the mastermind people. We started out with 6. We've had 5 people in our mastermind group that we've kind of stuck together through this whole time. There's 2 other ladies that we've been in constant communication, but so we all help each other. And so similar to similar to Ellen, that also I've changed the way I changed the way I did my emails. I used to do monthly emails a little longer, a lot longer. And now I've changed it to weekly emails, more with a target, focusing on things such as, how do I get my audience to respond back to me? And whether I ask them to reply or do a poll or a link for them to go to, something like that. So it's somewhat interactive. And then and a lot of what I keep calling you Michelle, Ellen, and I know your name. Um, what Ellen has said is just doing some of these tech things that I've done, yet it's up to my game. So making that happen. Oh, and that's what the last piece is what I'll focus on at this point, is really honing in on my target market and then inviting my target market, particularly in a one-on-one style. And so I feel like I'm a combination of the way I'm doing my emails, and then also I had a big list before, but I don't know that they were so much my target market. And now I have a bigger list with more of my target market and getting more interaction with them.
That's awesome. And I'm going to ask you, I should have asked Ellen maybe, but how did it come about that you all decided to create your own like little mastermind pod? Because with Inside Fast Track, we already have a lot of built-in support and accountability. Right. And then you guys took it a step further. Whose idea was that?
I think it was yours. And then you suggested, right? Didn't you suggest that we find other people? And then go ahead, Diane. I know Ellen invited me, but I was connecting with some other coaches.
Yeah. I guess we have different memories of how it happened. And maybe there was other things going behind the scenes. I've been in a mastermind before and I felt supported. And so I had been in contact with a few people individually, and maybe that's kind of what you were referring to, Francine, as well. And so then I felt like I wanted to extend this to a bigger group rather than trying to do individual conversations that we can all do together. And I don't know if, and so we've been able to support each other when somebody couldn't be there, somebody else was able to step in. And so, and it was kind of organic the way it happened, but I don't, so we can go into
and I would just like to add that what I found myself, there was a few people I had reached out to at the very beginning as part of that homework, Michelle, was, finding an accountability partner, but also just being in your community overall. Once you start responding to text messages and posts in the Facebook group, you start to feel resonance. I really believe in the feelings of resonance. And Diane and Francine and our two other partners, there is a resonance between us, I think partially age, stage of life, personal issues, caretaking issues, growth issues, where we're going with our business. And, like Diane, we often feel that she's our leader. She has a very established business, so she can give a good sense of experience. And a lot of tech how-tos, like even at 10:30 at night when I can't figure out what's the glitch in my Google form, Diane, 1 sentence and 2 minutes later, it's accomplished. So I love that, and with Francine, we're kind of together on this in that we're starting out at a newer stage, a fresher stage. We also have similar belief systems, values. So I think the resonance came organically as well by what we were sensing and feeling in interactions in your Facebook group and who you reach out to, who responds to your posts, who asks similar questions. So I think that was a big part of how our group came together.
That makes sense, because we try to really foster a lot of communication, like obviously when we're meeting live, but then within the Facebook group. And I know people are like, well, how much support can you really get inside an online forum or a Facebook group? And I'm like, so much, right? Like it's super interactive. Agreed. Francine, maybe you can speak to that, and also like how these 90 days have changed what's going on for you.
Yeah, I just want to tell in what we were just saying, because one of the things where you said for us to get accountability was coming up to the fast track 9 days ago. And it was like where you said, grab each other, like how, you said that in our mentorship group. So you have that other group that I was so grateful to be in, because I met these two wonderful women and other women, coaches in that group. So for me with the 90 days, that I will touch on that, but really, Michelle, like 5 years ago, someone invited me to Health Coach Power Community, and I didn't see the value. And I'd come and go, and I'd kind of sign up for something, and then I'd forget I signed up for it, watched a little, didn't realize I signed up for something, signed up again, like over the years, because life happened. And then I was just like, this is it. This is my year. I want to dive in. And I did the jump start, just that one thing. And I was like, I'm going for it. there's no stopping me. I need to make this happen. And I did, Fast Track has jump started it. And I had done the one, and it was just friends and family. And it was just such a great experience. I learned so much stuff on the technical back end that I can use in so many other areas. Like, and then I said to you, why didn't I do this 5 years ago? Like, what? There is so much in there to that helped me grow, and things that took me hours to learn with the material, like I'm starting to do them within like half hour, and I could do like three different things, like three different landing pages you've given us or a flyer. And I've put up flyers. Like that was a big step for me. I haven't done that in many years. And so those are a lot of the changes. I started with no mailing list back in January, nothing. And then I got like, the 7 people in my life. And just recently, with going through these last 90 days, and my phone could ding at any minute because that keeps happening when I start talking about it. I reached out, and I've gotten such a great response where people are literally that I just met one woman 2 weeks ago. We connected in a faith-based community, and she asked me if she can invite some of her friends, and 4 people signed up. Now I have 24 people on my emailing list, and that is so huge from 6 months ago to I had nothing. And the lives I've seen change just by going through the jumpstart, and the value it's given to my own life is super, like, it's just super fantastic. I don't even have words because it's just continuing to give back to me and to watch loved ones. Like that's so important. And these 2 women, like, and I want to get into like what the beauty of how we didn't just go internally with our group, but we extended that out to the whole community, where we were like, hey, we don't have that answer. Let's go find somebody we can, each lock arms with in that area.
Mhm.
What a beautiful testimony. I mean, that's what I mean. You guys have added like layer upon layer on top of what we already have. And that's exactly what you should do. That's exactly why we do it all together and we meet like this. I mean, I know it'd be nice if we were in a room together and can hug and like really see each other, but I really like the face-to-face interaction. Tell me more. When you guys were planning to, get on this call with me today, what were you like, we need to talk about, or were you planning to play like a practical joke on me? Go ahead. Like you guys have been texting.
You might be afraid to ask us. We have something planned if this ever comes up again. No, because we weren't really sure, there wasn't really a lot of planning time. So we came up with what would Michelle really ask, like what would support the programs, your business, etc. So we came up with a couple of those, and then we're like, she might want to know what brought us together for accountability. And we came up with some ideas for that. Then we kind of got silly because our nerves got the better of us. And our leader, Diane, reminded us that nerves can sometimes give you that extra adrenaline and energy that you need to perform well. And this is our first podcast together that I'm aware of. So that was really kind of fun. So last night we're still waiting and figuring out, well, what will she ask? And then all of a sudden we got silly. And I remembered Saturday Night Live, and I remembered Coffee Talk. Because Diane said, just pretend that we're having coffee together tomorrow, and whatever happens, we just have a conversation. So next thing you know, we're playing, and I'm Madonna, someone else is Barbra Streisand. And again, the resonance there was we both were all familiar with the 90s, and that comic relief. And but we had a YouTube, but even find a replay, but it's we had that commonality. And so we had a couple good laughs, and here we are staying up too late before we're supposed to be on this call tomorrow and be health coaches with restorative sleep.
Hey, if you're up late and you're laughing together and having fun, I think that's equally as restorative.
Yeah.
Whereas, like so many coaches, and I'm sure if not one of you, all 3 of you can speak to this. We can hit walls where it feels like this isn't working, and I'm just like banging my head against the wall, and like it's time to give up now. And your spirits can really drop when like the efforts you're putting forth aren't paying off. How has that? I'm sure you've all had a moment or two like that in the past 90 days. How have you handled it together?
I mean, I would say there's been transparency and vulnerability with all of us. And although I have met one of the coaches in our group because I didn't know this, but she happens to live 10 minutes up the road from me. But prior to Fast Track, I didn't really, I kind of had inkling that she was around here, but I actually met her. But other than that, we have never met live. I just think we were just all genuine with each other, and we shared, and it just started out where it was a lot more focused on the coaching business, and then life happened. And then it was, well, I can't be on the call, or I can't text right now because this is going on. And anywhere from, I don't want to go into the details, but lots of different challenges of what we have, from parents to pets to kids, situations where we've just shared that and given each other grace when we're having a hard time, and just even said, sorry, I can't help you today because I'm doing this. And then other people jump in, and then maybe the next day, that person that couldn't help that day jumps in and says, hey, and one more thing I thought of. And, there was, so we've supported each other. There's been accountability for each other, of how is it going? You said a few days ago you were going to do this. Have you done this? And then encouraged each other, and then of course celebrated each other when we do stuff, and sending silly gifts across to each other, or YouTube videos or things of that sort, just to not only do the work but also make it fun. And so we've been able to help each other in all of that. And I think for all of us, all our husbands know who we all are. And it's like, and I have a daughter named Ellen, and I'm like, oh, Ellen. And then at the beginning it was like, well, not our daughter, but now like he knows which Ellen it is based upon what I'm saying and such like that. So
that's wonderful. I like what you said about being vulnerable with each other, because when like someone else understands how you feel, something didn't go the way you planned, or you messed this up, or it happens every day 100 times. And sometimes the rest of the world doesn't get it, but when you can get it with each other, makes the burden much, much lighter. And you guys have done a phenomenal job. As we wrap up, I'm curious what you think a coach needs to succeed. If we're talking about inside Fast Track, what do you need to succeed inside Fast Track? Or just in general, if you could just think of like one thing that you think is most important for success, what would it be? And I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but Francine, will you go first?
I still have a thought, and maybe this is the one thing from what you were all just discussing. I did not want to interact with other coaches. I did it as a competitive thing. So I want to speak to that person that feels that way. Everybody's sharing their stuff on the group, and I'm like, how are they sharing what they're doing? Like, aren't they gonna like worried about somebody taking their idea? And I've pushed through that, like that, and that allowing myself to be seen and to share that part. Like, I don't share everything, but to give a little bit is like, has been a breakthrough for me. And to come alongside other coaches and see the value in like having feedback and giving feedback and being that kind of vulnerable has escalated. And in this group, learning to coach, like being able to practice to say the coachy questions to each other. So I don't know. That's not one thing, but that's my big aha for what I've gotten out of this whole experience with these ladies and the others in our coaching, collective that you've put together, Michelle and Katie.
Okay, see, we cannot work as an island. It works better when we do it together. Could not agree more. What about you, Ellen? What does it take to succeed?
I think the biggest thing, and I learned this very early from Katie, probably like session due doula, when all the Fast Track materials came through, and I just looked at it and went, oh my God, this wasn't what I expected. Not just because of the size of what was ahead of me, but also I wasn't sure that it was me or my niche, and how could I do this? And Katie really helped me, thank you, Katie, forever, in intrinsic motivation. So it's not at this point. Yes, the big picture is we do want to have an income and a career and leave a legacy and a vocation. But it's that intrinsic motivation that every day I get up, and I love that quote, Michelle, do the thing. So I just wake up and I say, okay, got to do the thing. What's the thing? And I always have a thing prepared. I've got all these notes on my desk, and sometimes I have to shift the thing. But I make sure I do the thing, and that ends up falling into a time block, which I've learned I'm intrinsically motivated to do it. I look at a lot of what I've produced in terms of design work, and I'm just proud of it where it is for right now. I know it needs improvement. I'm sure you would tweak it, but it's certainly not where I was 90 days ago. So I'm intrinsically motivated to continue to do the thing and move forward, because it's my self-actualization, where I am at my age, how much time I've left on earth, like it's just the greatest motivator that I've had. So I think coaches have to be intrinsically motivated as well as extrinsically motivated, because that's what's going to keep you on this marathon, because being an entrepreneur is not really a short-term gig. So I thank you for the opportunity, for that personal growth, both from you and Katie.
Thanks for sharing, Ellen. And in just like the 30 seconds that we have left, Diane, what do you think it takes for a health coach to succeed?
Well, I would just say embrace it all. If you're following a program, such as Fast Track, embrace the whole process of what you're going to be doing. And as to use Ellen's words and your words, embrace the thing, right? So things that may not make sense to you, give it a try, do it. And, and then also look on the HPU Facebook group so that you can see what others are doing, so you can glean information and value off of what they're doing, and then also post where you need help or what you want to celebrate. And you can always change it. Whatever you decide to do doesn't mean it's going to be forever. So if we do something one way and it doesn't feel right, you can change it later or improve it, right? So just embrace, and you're just going to be there one step at a time, and you'll get there.
Thanks, Diane. So for all of our listeners, if you're interested in our future Fast Track opportunities, we do have the waitlist open. It's at healthcoachpower.com/waitlist. Thank you, Ellen, Francine, Diane, for joining me today. We really, really appreciate you sharing your experience, and we'll be seeing you soon inside the Facebook group.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.